I'll be real with you. I've had times in my life where I experienced so much pressure, so much expectation to perform and crush it, that I woke up in the middle of the night with my thoughts racing, my legs kicking, my body sweating, and I was constantly filled with massive self-doubt. I was thinking, hey, I'm not doing enough. I'm not successful enough. There must be something wrong with me because I keep hitting the same walls again and again in my business, my relationship, and other areas of my life. And then through talking to other guys and through my work, I realized that a lot of ambitious men are going through the same thing. A lot of us put so much performance pressure on ourselves that we experience the same few common worries again and again and again. And it really distracts us from actually being happy, actually getting the success we want, but without the grind. Instead, we stay in this constant hustle mode and worry, and is really just messing with your head. So in this video, I want to show you the 4 most common worries that, from my experience, ambitious men go through, and how I managed to let go of them through a few simple shifts in perspective and exercises. Let's start with number 1, and this is by far the biggest one, and it is, I am not doing enough. Since you're an ambitious guy, I can almost guarantee you that you put a lot of pressure to perform on yourself, right? You set big goals, you put a lot of items on your to-do list, you say, oh, this has to be done by then, and so on and so forth. And all this pressure, well, it pushes you to perform, but it also really causes a lot of worries about not doing enough, about not being good enough. At the end of the day, it's probably really hard for you to turn off because you're so caught in this constant grind, endless hours, pushing harder, yada, yada, yada. And I've been there. I've really taken it to the extreme. I've had a tracker where I tracked 15 data points every day. How my sleep was when I got up, the focus for my work, how long my lunch break was, how many to-dos I got done, and so on and so forth. And, I had weeks where I worked 6 days a week. And for 6 days a week, I was completely in the green. I hit every benchmark, 15 data points per day, times 6. That's 90 out of 90 data points that I hit to perfection. And guess what? I still thought I wasn't doing enough. It's so crazy when you look at it right now. But it really shows that the key to doing enough, to being enough, to feeling enough is not to do more on the outside. Because even if you reach your goals, you will simply elevate that standard and you will simply tell yourself, well, now I have to do better. And it often happens because it's so easy to look at what you're not doing, right? You could be doing everything right during the day, but there's this one thing like, oh, maybe you snoozed your alarm this morning. Or maybe you spend like half an hour scrolling on Instagram and you focus so much on that and give it so much space in your reality that it takes over. And then, of course, you're telling yourself, oh, I'm not doing enough because that's everything you look at. So what I did instead is I shifted to focusing on how much I was actually doing. And I started writing down at the end of the day, okay, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. And all of a sudden, that list grew and grew and grew and grew. And I realized, man, I'm doing so much already. I am doing so much already. And it's really about, giving yourself that conscious pat on the back saying, man, you did well today. You did enough. And even if there's like another 10% you could have done, so what? That's life. You're human. You're not a robot. So if you battle with this worry that you're not doing enough on like a day-to-day basis even, really sit down at the end of the day, write a quick list. I have done this, check, check, check. And not just, check it and don't look at it anymore, but really consciously appreciate yourself for that. Realize how much you're already doing. And I guarantee you that will fuel you to do even more and to achieve even more, but in a much healthier way. The second big worry is I am not successful enough. And it's sort of the little brother of the first one, because the first one was about the inputs, the doing. How much am I actually putting in? And the second one is about the outputs. What am I getting out of it? How successful am I being with all the stuff that I do? How much money do I earn? How much of a six-pack do I have? How beautiful is my wife? What kind of car do I drive? How much free time do I have? And so on and so forth. And what I've noticed within myself, as well as with my clients, is that we ambitious guys, as soon as we reach our goal, we tend to shift the goalposts even higher. So if your goal is to make like 10K months and you've been working on that for so long, and then you hit it, you're like, fuck yeah. And you're really happy with it. So guess what? A week later, like, damn man, I wish I had hit 50K months now. I've seen this guy on Instagram, he says he made 50K this month. That's what I want as well. And this isn't just about the money, right? It could be about the income, but it could also be about, hey, I want even more beautiful women now. I want even more of a six-pack. I want an even bigger car. I want more free time. I want an extra house in the Bahamas, or whatever it is, right? There's always more to achieve. And similar to that first worry, if you focus on everything you haven't achieved yet, you will never feel successful. But it's so easy to do that, especially if you're so ambitious, especially if you have some sort of pattern that tells you you need to do more, achieve more. And there's a really good quote by Alex Hormozi that gets me every time I read it. And that is, you have already achieved all the things that you said would make you happy. So instead of saying, hey, I'll be successful once I get X, Y, Z, look at all the things you've already achieved and realize that you are successful right now. That you have already crushed so many goals, that you've had so many achievements, and that no matter where you are in your journey right now, this is exactly where you're supposed to be. Exactly. Because there's still lessons to learn, there's still things to do, there's still wins and achievements to enjoy. So that's why you're there. Stop making your happiness and your feeling of success dependent on an always moving goalpost, and realize that in every moment you are already successful simply by being who you are, simply by everything you've already accomplished. And a really great way to cement this belief is to write a list of at least 50, even 100 things that you've achieved already that make you successful already. And you will realize there's so much there that you're not dependent. Your success is not dependent on an always moving goalpost. You are successful right now. Worry number three. And that is, there must be something wrong with me. Look, I've been really stuck in my life for extended periods of time, for months and sometimes years. I was just hitting the same walls again and again and again. And I was so close to finding solutions to the problems in my business, to the problems in my relationships, my dating life, with my own self-worth. But there was always a wall that I ran against. And no matter what I tried, no matter how many courses I bought, no matter how many hours I put in, no matter what approach and techniques and strategies and everything I took, I still didn't get it. And I still didn't feel like, fuck yeah, that's it. I finally have it. And of course, over time, you start doubting yourself. And you start worrying about, man, is there something wrong with me? Like, am I just fucked up? Is there some weird twist of fate? Am I just one of the unlucky ones who's not supposed to, get it or whatever? And it's completely normal to have these thoughts if you hit the same walls again and again and again. And then, of course, you start comparing yourself to others. You see them balling on Instagram and you listen to their podcasts. So they told you, I just made a 100K launch, or I was with 3 women this week, yada. I did like a 6-week diet and got a 6-pack. I got 2 6-packs, man. And you see all of that around you, and our culture really doesn't support a very open dialogue about these kind of worries at the moment. So you internalize them, you hide them, you hide these feelings and these thoughts, and you bury them inside yourself, and that creates even more shame. And that shame, again, keeps you from speaking out loud, from exchanging with others. So you keep worrying and saying, man, there must be something wrong with me. Everybody else is crushing it. Why not me? And as someone who has been there for years, who sat in front of his journal and cried in frustration and said, man, I fucking hate it. Why? Why am I so stuck? What's wrong with me? As someone who's been there, I can tell you wholeheartedly and with all the love I have, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Nothing. And if you don't want to take my word for it, listen to this. I've been with so many successful business owners, 6, 7, 8 figures, you name it. I can guarantee you that the one thing I took away from all these masterminds, from these gatherings, from these dinners, from everything, is that we all have the same problems. On a different scale, but we all have the same problems. And they all go through these periods where they feel like, man, I'm completely fucking stuck. The problem is that 99% of people tell you that the way to get unstuck and to break through these walls is to just grind harder, to put in more hours, to do more volume, yada, yada, yada. And if you can't do that, well, you're not cut out for it. And this reinforces a very negative self-image, because every time you hit the wall, you're just telling yourself, man, I'm just not working hard enough. I'm not doing enough. So the real way, if you feel like there's something wrong with you, if you're stuck on a certain level, if you have the same problems again and again and again, the real way to break through that wall is to stop looking for solutions on the outside. Because if you're honest with yourself, everything you've tried on the outside, whether it's a new business strategy, a new approach to dating, or whatever you've tried, all the podcasts and books and everything you've listened to, have always created the same result. You're always back in the same place, wondering if there's something wrong with you. And what you instead need to do is to look on the inside, to look at the subconscious blocks and the patterns that you have that recreate these situations again and again and again. And this is often because at one point during childhood, or when we're growing up, or it could also be in other periods of your life, you adopted a certain belief. And while you have this belief, everything you do will reaffirm this belief. No matter what kind of strategy you choose, no matter what kind of approach you have, as long as you have this belief, and especially if you're not aware of it, you will always create things and interpret reality so it reinforces that belief. So if you have the belief that, man, there's something wrong with me, I'm not doing enough, I should do more, I should grind harder, I'm not putting in enough, then that's exactly what you will create. And that's exactly what will reinforce this belief again. So instead of trying harder on the outside, which will always get you the same result, stop, let go of that, take a look on the inside and really see where's the belief coming from, what's the pattern behind it, how can I approach things from a different energy. And that will help you break through the wall because, as I said, there's nothing wrong with you. You just need to take a look on the inside. Last but not least is a worry I've seen in every ambitious man I've worked with. No matter what, every single one of them had that. And that is, am I a good man? Am I being a good partner? Am I providing well for my family? Am I giving back? Am I a good person? And this worry often gets triggered in a relationship because then you have someone there who constantly mirrors you. And a lot of the guys I work with, they grew up with this sort of happy wife, happy life thinking. So they think the more they do for her, the nicer they are to her, the more they're making her happy, the better they are as a man, and the better the relationship will be, and the better their life will be, and so on and so forth. But guess what? It doesn't work like that. Because if you constantly try to please someone else's every wish, to be the perfect man, the perfect husband, the perfect father, to be the perfect everything, to never do something wrong, to always provide, you will be one of the guys who really do everything they can, but sacrifice themselves for it. They lose their essence, they lose their masculinity, and with it they lose the capacity to give and provide something that is very essential and that only a masculine man can provide, and that is something like a safe container. It's confidence, groundedness, integrity, inner strength, setting boundaries. It doesn't really matter if you can buy her the fanciest food or fanciest house, or you're always there for her. Every second she calls, you pick up and you're like, yes, baby, I'll do everything for you. No, she wants you to be in your masculine essence. And that will help her be in her feminine one. And it will create an absolutely beautiful dynamic in your relationship. But when you constantly worry about, am I doing this right? Am I good? Am I perfect? Am I a good man? Then of course you're not secure in that. And it becomes very hard to provide what she actually wants. So instead of constantly worrying about pleasing her and being the perfect man, the perfect husband, the perfect father, focus on yourself. Develop this inner strength, this confidence, the emotional capacity, everything, but not for her, not for someone else, for yourself. Do the inner work on that. And I guarantee you, it will not only eliminate the worries, because you will see, man, I'm working on myself. I'm constantly growing. I'm doing these things so well. There's nothing to worry about. But it will also massively improve your relationship. And I had to learn this the hard way myself, because I grew up in an almost all-women household without a father, and I learned a lot about how to be nice with women and how to please them and everything, but I didn't learn much about how to please myself, how to look after myself, how to develop myself, and how to build a strong masculine that is able to draw boundaries, have confidence, inner strength, groundedness, all these things. I had to learn the hard way, because every single one of my relationships eventually hit the same wall, because I was sacrificing myself for it. So to sum this up, the way to be a better husband, father, partner, everything, is to actually become a better man for yourself. And everything else will follow. So there you go. This should give you a good idea about how to deal with the most common worries that a lot of ambitious men deal with. And please remember, it's not about being perfect. This is a step-by-step process. I'm giving you the tools here. If you start applying them, I guarantee you will see improvement. In any case, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you and I love you. And if you say, hey, I can really relate to this particular worry because I've had it for so long and I've tried so many things and it doesn't really get better, then I invite you to check out my mentoring, the Integrated Man. It's a one-on-one 3-month mentoring program that will help you let go of all these subconscious blocks, the old patterns, the old worries that hold you back. And it will really help you to succeed without the grind, to improve your relationship, and to build rock solid, authentic confidence, and finally feel powerful as yourself again. The link is in the description. Check it out. And in any case, I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you. I love you.